I don't train for it. If it was a good one or a bad one, so try to win and not focus in the peripheral view. You know, it's been just 2 seconds.
Welcome, Aleix. Welcome here to the blog and the interview of Free Life Your Life. I have to tell a little bit about the story. We tried it already several times for the interview, and we already interviewed. We already had an interview a couple of weeks ago, and it didn't work out in the end. And yeah, thank you again for taking time and having time.
You're welcome.
Good. Thank you very much. As I just said before, if we're talking about having an interview for 10 minutes, you most likely have the chance to actually hold your breath for the whole time, right?
I could, but then I cannot speak.
Okay. So when you hold, yeah, well, this is clear. It shouldn't be like this. So as I said, we already had an interview before. So I will not ask you the same questions again. So I will just pick up some other ones and I will extend the questions regarding to our last interview. Okay, so it's a little bit of a challenge for you. So we don't start from zero, okay?
I take it, yes.
Yeah. All right. So we just start with the numbers a little bit. And then afterwards, I'm more talking with you about what's around the numbers before and after. So you can actually hold your breath more than 10 minutes. And you've been world champion for a couple of times already. Am I right?
Couple of times AIDA, once CMAS, yes.
Okay, a couple of times AIDA, once CMAS. And this is with normal air. You're holding your breath for more than 10 minutes. If you breathed oxygen before, you established a Guinness World Record as well for more than 24 minutes.
Yeah, it's a different world, but yeah, I did this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I even saw the YouTube video. It's crazy. I had to scroll forward because it's just long, 24 minutes, looking somebody holding the breath.
But it has a lot of audience. Just whatever with this Guinness World Record branding, it works really well on the net.
Okay.
Surprising, yeah.
So you recommend me to watch the 24 minutes?
No, absolutely not. But I'm not surprised that you saw it because it's popping to everyone on the YouTube.
Oh, okay, cool. So
it's in suggestions page, so yeah, it's very often that people see it.
Okay. Yeah, so actually, as you see, well, I could find you easily. We once met before a little bit in Dahab. So, yes. I mean, the place to be anyway for freedivers. We were now talking a lot about numbers. So what I'm really interested is, how important are numbers to you?
In terms of performance, right?
Yes.
Not for a life, but I will focus on freediving.
Okay.
Well, in statics, it's about a chronometer. So the number in the end is determining if it was a good one or a bad one. So it's very important, the number. It doesn't mean I have to stick to one number, but during my trainings, if I don't look at the numbers, I go just by feelings, I would probably not push it hard enough. So I really need to see more or less if I'm in the 8 minutes plus range, in the 9 or in the 10. Every 1 minute period sets like a different world or different stage of training. Yeah, so if I'm aiming something like 10, 11 minutes, it's one kind of training. If it's just a 9, 10 minutes, it's just another kind of training or no training. So the number is determining how much work is behind, so it's important.
Okay. And what do these numbers give you in the end? Because you're reaching out for them, and if you reach them, if you made a record or maybe a good position in a championship, what does it give you?
Mostly, to me, it's confidence. Yeah, when I know what I'm working for, if I'm working for a 10 plus performance, once I reach it properly and often in training, my brain is totally calm and determined to do it. When my numbers are flashing up and down, then it's like mentally it's like I'm gambling in the competition or wherever I want to perform. So it's not so much about having a number in my brain which I want to reach and this is the goal in my life. But actually, when I reach some numbers, my mind state gets totally different. Yeah, sometimes 9 minutes is not challenging for me, and sometimes it's really difficult. So when I know I'm totally ready for it, like my life feelings change totally regarding a competition.
Okay. And for me, I just imagine you managed successfully your competition, and you won, for example, in the past, this world championship. How does it feel to be honored afterwards?
You mean socially about the feedback you get from outside?
Just from yourself, how do you feel?
Well, for the first time, it was like a personal goal I set myself in the next few years. I know I have the level for it, so I don't want to have been in the position to reach it and not having been able just because I was not behind it. So for the first time, it was a goal itself, and I was just like a relief, like, okay, I got what I was working for. And the next ones, it's very different. It's just going on with the sport. I want to participate in the sport because it gives me so much. So I was just there. And then just because I have some relatively good level, then I have the chance to reach it again and again. But as a goal for me, it was only the first time. And afterwards, just enjoying the sport.
Okay, but if it's just enjoying, why do you want to win then?
Because actually I don't prepare in a world championships. Personally, I don't prepare for a number itself. I prepare for winning. If I am not aiming to win, maybe I wouldn't like to be in a world championship after I won several times. For the first time, maybe it doesn't matter. You go there and you do your best, and that's it. But at the moment, I'm not sure I want to be in a world championship, which I am not expecting or trying to win. So yeah, it becomes a goal in that moment. It doesn't mean it's a goal in my life. But once I am in the world championship, my goal is getting a first place position.
Okay.
So I don't know if this answers very, very well your question. It sounds a bit like an ego thing, but I think it's not ego. It's like you set a whole project to be in a world championship. You want to get the best from it.
Okay. If you said it's not a lifetime goal, what is it then? I mean, have you ever had a lifetime goal actually in freediving?
Well, it sounds a bit hard, but as I said, in the first time, it was it was not like my goal in life, but it was like I've worked for these numbers, or I reached these numbers. Now I'm in a position where I can aim to win. So now I want to force myself to at least try to win, yeah, once in my life because I can. So if I don't reach it, it's because I'm too stupid to reach it. It's like if you're Usain Bolt and you don't manage to get a gold medal in the Olympics, yeah, it's like a waste. Then don't do athletics, do something else and enjoy your life. But if you're doing athletics and you're Usain Bolt, try to win. In my case, I'm not the Usain Bolt of freediving, but I had these times which could allow this first place position.
Okay. So would you say that you've been a Usain Bolt for a couple of years or a specific time?
No. Usain Bolt is like the boss of his discipline. I'm not the boss. I'm doing my best.
Okay. So last time we were talking about how it is for you being underwater and holding your breath. And you told me that you're actually sleeping. That it's a feeling of sleeping while you're holding your breath, because 10 minutes is a long time, huh? You have to do something.
It's related to sleep, but it's not properly sleeping. When I reach to fall asleep, then I have some problems because I wake up sometimes soon afterwards, sometimes after some time lapse. And when I wake up, I have some adrenaline shift. And that's not good for my statics. So the good situation is where I'm very close to sleeping, but I'm still conscious and managing the whole situation. So when this happens mostly in training, because in competition it's really difficult. When it happens in training, it's the best feeling. You are really aware of what you're doing, but you're so relaxed that everything becomes easy.
Okay. you said actually when you're training, you have your own corner.
Physically in the pool. Yeah. Yeah.
You have your own. It's Aleix corner in the pool. Nobody's training there except of you, huh?
It's not written there. It's not written there. But my fellows know me since a few years, and they know I like this corner where there is no water flow. I can just float, and I'm not moving around the pool. And they just let me this pleasure to enjoy my corner. It's not mandatory. If there comes someone new or someone who has been always there and takes the corner, I'm going to go to another one. But they usually give me that corner. Yeah. It gives me like the scenario I already know. So I don't have anything external disturbing me. I know everything about that corner and I can just focus on my breath holding. That's it.
Okay. So can you take me on to a mental journey? And the other people who are watching this as well or listening to it, what happens within this 10 minutes in your head? I mean, it doesn't have to be 10 minutes in total, but maybe you just give us a slight impression of actually what's happening.
Yeah. In the first few seconds, it's just a matter of physical relaxation, of releasing the tension in every muscle. And then I'm trying to force myself into this sleeping stage. Yeah, this sleeping stage is the stage when I'm trying to push myself into sleep, and I'm not reaching it, but I'm still trying. There is a study, scientific study. It says that when we are in a mind state where we are really focused in one thing, it's saving more oxygen than when we have diverse thoughts around the brain. Even if we are totally free and relaxed, it's better to have only one thing in the head. In my head, it's just like staying as relaxed as I am when I am in the bed. That's my thinking, like in the whole stage of trying to sleep, which is maybe from the minute 1 to the minute 6, yeah? And then about the 6th minute, I start feeling the CO2, so then the discomfort is rising and I cannot fully relax. Maybe sometimes when I'm a bit hyperventilated, I extend it to 7 minutes. But usually it's around 5, then I'm just trying to completely avoid the contractions, even if maybe it would be a relief to have some contractions. I force myself to not to move any muscle. And
can you tell me, how do you avoid contractions?
I cannot avoid contractions at all, but there is a stage when these vagal nerves inputs, you can just fight them just by consciously trying not to move any muscle. It's just like, I don't know how to say it, but sometimes you have a reflex. It's like someone is blowing your eyes, you can naturally close them, or you just can force it to stay, yeah? But when the input is too strong, then you're gonna blink your eyes.
Okay.
Not for sure, because maybe someone can avoid it, but normally. Yeah, so this is kind of the same thing. When it's something mild, I can manage it, I can just not move, and then at some point, there is a break point where my first contraction goes on no matter what I want. And from then on, I have something which is working as most things, mostly on training, which is trying to enjoy the contractions. It sounds really stupid for some people. They say it's like enjoying pain. Well, it's something like that. I try to enjoy contractions. So I try to convince myself like a mantra, this is nice, this is fine for me because it's helping me. Actually, it's helping us, it's giving us better blood flow in the brain. So it actually gives easier feeling. Once you are in that situation, after each contraction, we have like instance of better feeling. So I try to do that, to convince myself. It's about 4 minutes contractions in a long breath hold, so it's quite a long time. And then I'm trying to stay in this mind state until I reach the very end, when it's a matter of hypoxia, I try to be really aware of every hypoxic sign, which is really tricky. But I didn't black out yet, so I can say it's working more or less. It's just being really aware about the symptoms you can have of hypoxia. It can be from mostly for me maybe vision. It's not that I lose the vision, but it gets very precise in the very center, and I cannot focus in the peripheral view. And I notice because when I'm looking at my watch, I use my watch during the breath hold. When I need some reference, I check it. And then I start looking at my watch in the very end, like this close, just because it's difficult for me to watch it from the distance in one side. So this is one thing when I really need to look very, very close to see what the numbers is like when I have to start thinking about coming up. There is also like, I lose the perception of time. Sometimes maybe I check my time at 9:30, then I check my time at 9:40, and then I check my time and it's 9:42. Why do you check your watch 2 seconds afterwards? You know it's been just 2 seconds. But then it's just some hypoxia just kicking in, which makes me lose a bit the perception of time, or even not panic, but get stressed and check it too often. Well, I don't know, when I have this, finally this fainting feeling. If I have any fainting feeling, I immediately come up. So maybe that's why I never blacked out. But according to some other people, before they have this feeling, they black out. So maybe just a very personal thing.
Okay, cool.
Actually, I think I didn't black out because maybe physically I'm not very prone, but also because I'm spearfishing some. And in spearfishing, we know that blackout is 99% death. So I'm really aware of that. I shouldn't have the same mentality in the pool in competitions with full safety, but it's something that stays behind.
Okay, so you already have this in mind, and that's why you're actually kind of checking yourself even a bit more, and you're more aware of what actually happens when it comes to hypoxia.
Hundreds or thousands of times where I've been underwater waiting, bottom waiting, and just managing when to come up. So it's many times that I try to be conservative and keep my life. I want it.
Good. You're holding your breath for more than 10 minutes. Do you compete in depth competitions as well?
I've competed. I like it, but I don't want to go too serious with it. Firstly, because my time in the sea, I have free diving. I do free diving in competitions because I want to enjoy it in the sea. So in the sea, what I enjoy the most is spearfishing. And when I do some competitions, I realize I don't train for it because I'm just spearfishing. So why do I want to do something in the sea, which is not what I enjoy the most? And I didn't prepare because I was spearfishing. So in the end, my conclusion was keep spearfishing in the sea and keep competing in the pool.
Okay, so this is more important for you to be out, and when you're out, you go spearfishing instead of training.
Because I'm not this kind of athlete who train really hard for only competition. I want to enjoy my skills from the training for my leisure time, which is spearfishing. So I want to use it. I want this breath hold not only for the ranking. I want it for myself, and this way to use it myself is in the sea.
So if you talk about yourself, what is success to you?
It's literally reaching goals, and what is reaching goals, it depends on every time. But once it was winning a world championship, then I reached this one, and then
what is it right now? What is it right now, success to you?
Right now, it's in different fields. In freediving, my goal at the moment, which I have to develop it, is how to keep competing if what I enjoy the most is being in the sea. Because competing, I compete in the pool. So I'm trying to make everything enjoyable. Because I have to choose, I will choose the sea. But I don't want to put myself in that position. I want to reach a moment where I'm comfortable with doing everything for the long term. Yeah, because I want to freedive in the long term, because I slowly increase my breath hold every year or every few years. I feel I'm stronger, so I want to keep it in the long term. that's for free diving. And then I have my professional success in my field. Well, economically, Europe is having difficulties, and this is something I really feel in my profession. And I know I can do more than I do, and I hope I will reach. Well, I'm on the way, so I don't want to complain too much. Things are working, but it's always difficult.
Poco a poco.
And yeah, and family as well. I don't know. I want my people to be fine. Lately, in the last years, like all my grandpas died, and it's one of these periods when you think, well, family is really, really important, and it's really something we have to appreciate when everyone is healthy and doing fine, which they are at the moment. But something, I don't know, spins in my head. Yeah.
Okay. What do you love about your life?
I love my sport in freediving and spearfishing because I think it's not the same spearfishing and freediving, but I put it everything in a package because for me it becomes a package. Yeah, it's the only sport where you push yourself mentally to the limit and physically to the limit. Maybe there is some other sport, but I think this is the one that's making us push ourselves the most. And well, in life, I don't know. I'm happy I built my own life. I'm located in Barcelona, which I think is a proper city to live. Not the only one, but good one. And I have my own apartment, and I'm self-sufficient to decide how much to work, how much time to spend in the sea, which is something that not everybody can say. I can not choose it freely, but I can manage it to have proper time in the sea and proper time in the office. So I'm happy about it.
Okay, cool. Two more questions. One is, what is home for you?
Home for me? Well, my job is architecture, so I have to think about very literally about house, apartment, physical location outside the water where we spend most time. Yeah, and this is in my case it's related to my homeland, like in my case Catalonia, because when I have my language and my culture, this is something that links me to this place, and then my city exactly, which is Barcelona. This is home. If you're speaking about freediving itself, it's my corner.
Your corner in your pool.
Yeah. There it's easy, when you go to competitions and so on, everything is so tricky, but in my corner things are
easy. You should get your name somewhere, Cool. One last one. What are the 3 things that make you happy?
I will stick to this answer I gave you about happiness in life. It's 3 things for me. It's one in sports, which is having good and enjoyable results in my sport in freediving. It can be out of the competition as well. Even I go to a training, I do some 10 plus static easily, comfortably, something that makes me happy, seriously, because I know that I'm in shape and then I can use it in the sea. So this is one. And second could be in my office when we have interesting projects, because I consider architecture is very relevant in society. Even for us, for everyone, the biggest investment we will do in our lives, usually it's our home. Yeah. So when we get interesting projects to create, even homes, not only homes, but also homes, when we can sometimes refurbish a building, which is ecologically really important, or we can do a new project for new urban space. It's like something that it gives me work, it gives me a chance to innovate, to think, to create something for society and be rewarded for it. So interesting projects in my office are really important. And then I would say family, but I don't know how to take like something specific, really important regarding the family. In general, I want my family to be like solid, comfortable, healthy, and everything. But I don't know how to tell you what is exact point that gives me happiness regarding family.
Okay, but it is family. Number 3 is family as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 3 most important things for you, the things that make you happy. Great. You know what makes me happy? That we managed to have the interview here as well.
That was really difficult.
So from my side, Aleix, thank you very much for the interview. Yeah, we made it in time. I hope everything's recorded and it goes online quickly. And yeah, as I told you before, because this works out, no, I will not come to Barcelona in December, okay? So lucky you, but maybe when I'm around, we go for some tapas, huh?
We can have some Catalan food, sure.
All right, so thank you very much. Thank you for taking time. Enjoy your evening. And yeah, your next meeting that you're going to have.
You're welcome. Yeah, I have to leave in a while. Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much. Enjoy. All the best and see you soon. Hopefully close to the sea.
Hopefully.